In February of 2022, I was asked with three other immunology virology types to participate in a conference call about whether or not natural infection should count as a vaccine. In other words, that for those areas that were still mandating vaccine, which was many in early 2022, whether they should be able to say, look, here, I was naturally infected here. This should serve as my vaccine card. And that meeting was held with Rochelle Walensky, Tony Fauci, Vivek Murthy from Surgeon General's office, and Francis Collins, and then me and three other immunology virology types. So he started off. He said, "Oh, let's introduce ourselves." So Tony Fauci says, I'm Dr. Tony Fauci from NIID, and then Rochelle Walensky says, "I'm Rochelle Walensky from CDC." I said, "We know who you are." And the question is, who the hell are we, right? Yeah, Tony didn't need to introduce himself. In any case, so we voted on it, and it was sort of 2-2, basically. I mean, I was one of I think natural infection should count for obvious reasons. I mean, actually, you're making an immune response off 4 viral proteins. You, in many ways, make a broader cytotoxic T cell response. I think you're better off in many ways. The problem with natural infection is it's misnamed. It should be called survivor-induced immunity because not everybody lives with a natural infection. So,
Yeah.
that was I wish we had then immediately gone to the press and said, look, here's the conversation we just had. Here's the conversation that we went back and forth on this. Because while we all basically agreed, I think that it should count, that the question was bureaucratically, would it work at a time when people could just go on the internet and say, look, I've been naturally infected and get out of it. It's just, it became more of a bureaucratic issue. So I saw Dr. Fauci at a meeting maybe a year ago or so, because I was already getting out there saying, I think we should target high-risk groups, where I was getting a lot of pushback from public health people who felt that I had gotten off the bus. Because, see, that was the whole feeling in this. You're either on the bus or off the bus, and there was no in between. So I'd gotten off the bus. I said, Tony, am I wrong? Am I wrong in making? He said, no, you're right. We should target high-risk groups. He said, the problem is, the minute you say that, it becomes a nuanced message. And a nuanced message is a garbled message. If you really want to make sure those groups get vaccinated, then you recommend it for everybody. And okay, so if we think that, we should say it. Because my personal thinking on this is, then if that's the reason we're vaccinating healthy 16-year-old boys, that's not a good reason. And just have it open. Say it openly. You know what I'm saying? Because I think people are smart enough to hear it.